Everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Game. I'm Cap, and this is going to be another Guns of Glory video, this time about March capacity. Thank you for all your messages asking for various different videos. I promise you that I will get round to doing all of them, and I will get round to doing all of them within the next 7 days. So if I haven't done yours already, I will be soon. A couple of messages about March capacity. So I wanted to go over what it is, where you find the information, most importantly, how you can increase it. So on your castle, if you go to information, you'll see here you've got two numbers against March capacity. So the first one there, 59,000, that's your core March capacity. So what you have naturally. The green, the 13,780, that's any boosts or buffs that you've got. So any additional to your March capacity. And it's worth noting on that, when you do hit the buffs, so if we go into estate buffs, one of the ways to increase the March capacity is by using the boosts. So 2 hours, 12 hours, you've got a mixture of 25%. You can't see them here, but there's also a 50% as well. So when you do that boost as well, that isn't on the overall amount. So what I mean by that, that's not on these two figures combined, that's on this figure here. And that will boost that by the 25% or the 50, depending on which one you use. So I suppose there are lots and lots of different ways of doing the March capacity. The easiest way, and the one that most people do to begin with, is the castle level. So on the information there, in the March capacity, if you go click on more information, it will tell you the additional March capacity for the castle level. And when you get to castle level 31, I believe it is, yep, so when you get to castle level 31, you will also get an additional 10% on top of that. So the first thing I would say is that increasing your castle level will increase the March capacity. And that will become more relevant as well. Obviously, as you probably no doubt know by this point already anyway, as you increase the castle level, more and more things become active and there's more that you can do. So it's important that you increase that as quickly as you can. But I'll do castle growth in another video. So the next thing that I would say is research. And this would probably be most people's kind of go-to to increase the March capacity. So if we have a look in the academy, click on research and combat, you've got all your different researches here, and then you've got March capacity 1. So you can see the total bonus for this is another 10,000. If we scroll across, there'll be another one. There you go. So there's another one. And you can see how much that will increase it by. So that's the first part with the research. Now there are also some additional researches in superior researches which are locked. So War Machine, which is available at castle level 23, King's Legion at castle level 31. Now if I just show you what those look like by logging into a different account for a second. So this will log in to my other castle, and in here I'll be able to show you those additional researches. Now there is some additional requirements to those. So the first ones that we went through just now, they're going to be resources. If we go back to the academy again, research. So where we just were was advanced research and combat. Now if we go down to War Machine, you can see there's another March capacity boost in here. And you can see this is where it does start to go up quite heavily. But you're also going to need additional resources as well. So you can't tend to buy those packages, but you can get them in the spirit mines. So you can see here Scholar's Scroll. So once you get to a certain castle level, you'll be able to get those in the mines. But that will also unlock additional March capacity for you. Okay, the next, so after research, I would say your airship. So I know there's going to be lots of videos around the actual airship itself. And the airship, it always used to be that was the single most important part of the whole game, and it still is very, very important, especially when capacity is concerned. So if we go into the airship, and we'll click on Enhance in the bottom left-hand corner. So I believe it is engine. Yep. So on your engine, as you upgrade this is where you can increase your march capacity again. And you can see, so this one is on level 89 and the march capacity is 8470. So you can see you get a big march capacity increase by increasing the engine on your airship. So that would be point number 2. The next bit, and I think some people would argue that this is perhaps the most important part of the game now. So the next bit would be your guards. So your guards, if you click into each guard, you'll see that they also accrue march capacity benefits as well. And they can be slightly different for each guard. So there you go. So it's worth, as you level those up, the march capacity will increase. I don't know whether that will have enough there. So you can see that that is also another way to get that march capacity up as well. The next bit that I would look at is your equipment. So if we go to our equipment, or some people call it gear, you'll notice when you click in, so if you're kind of just beginning out, you're obviously going to have some of the lower level equipments, but the good news is that the Pursuer set is easier to get now with the various bottles and things like that you can get. So when you go into, so I'll go into the Bloodtooth because that's what I've got here. So you've got enhancement, star level, and rune. So on the rune, you can see that you get additional benefits from that as well, and these are a big amount on your march capacity. You can see also what your next upgrade will give you as well. To give you an idea on the equipment side of things, if I briefly show you a march with and without. So at the moment I'm not wearing the equipment, the gear, so you can see the march capacity there's 460,130. If I switch that without the gear, you can see that that drops to 393725. So that your equipment does make a big difference, and obviously that's without the airship as well. So with the airship, then that would be a much bigger capacity. I'll just show you that. While I'm going to do this, actually, that's going to be the next point. So your talents can also increase the march capacity. So you can see here I'm kind of in farming mode at the moment, but if I switch to the war mode, as it were, now these you can unlock once you get to a certain VIP level, but you can just set them to a specific way that you want. So the next one that we look at, so in war, you can see in here, I'm pretty sure, there you go, so you've got march capacity here as well. So you can increase the march capacity through your Lord talents, as it were. And then in the talents, you've got here a march capacity booster. I'm going to do the emergency recall just so that I can give you a little demo with the airship. So on here, you can see this increases it by 10% for 30 minutes. So that's another way that you can increase the capacity as well. So if I show you it with the airship and with the equipment, I love this new equipment tool, it's really cool. So you can see there we've got 556,200, and that's with the guards, with the airship, and if I switch back to, say, the farm gear like that, you can see that drops to 489. So it does make a big difference. Perfect. So that is the equipment and the gear. Research we have covered. Talents we've covered. You can also, they're the main points, and they're the bits that, so if I was a new castle and I was just starting out, I'd be focusing on getting my Lord level up as quickly as possible so that you get all the additional benefits and all the additional talents that you can get. So definitely that would be the main thing. So things like hitting the wolf when that event, make sure you do that, especially at the lower level castles. That will boost your Lord level. The experience that you get from that will boost you a lot faster. And then your normal things like your hunting threats and such. So Lord level for the talents, and research. Research is probably going to be your biggest one. Then I'd be looking Airship, getting that engine up as high as you can for the march capacity, and obviously your equipment as well. With the standard research that I showed you, so in here on the advanced research, that's going to be resources, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's just a bit of work, but you can get that up. Once you get into the superior research, you're going to be able to do a couple of the march capacity boosts, but then you're probably going to find maybe that you need to do a little bit of spending if you wanted to get those extra books. Otherwise, it's probably going to take a couple of years to get those to where you want them to be. But definitely the advanced research. Then it is worth mentioning as well that you can also do a subscription. So you can also subscribe. There's various different subscriptions and they will give you additional boosts. So for example, this has got a march capacity boost of an extra 2,000. So, and you can find various different versions of those. They're quite often the things that pop up on the screen as well. So the final bit to show you, which is worth mentioning just because it does increase the march capacity, although the most important stuff we have been through already, is the titles. So you can also get the title, which I think is standard bearer. Yeah. So this will also give you an additional 5% on the march capacity should you be awarded the standard bearer in the Royal Hall. Just make sure that that is everything. I think that it is. Yeah. So that's all the ways to increase the march capacity. I hope that that is somewhat useful. As I say, if you're starting out, focus on getting your Lord experience up and your castle level, because that will naturally increase your march capacity anyway, and then research. The other bits will naturally follow anyway, because you're going to want to focus on things like your pursuer set and then your bloodthirst set. And that's where, when you start to hit those, that's when you'll really start to see the march capacity go up by quite a significant amount. But to begin with, I hope that you found this useful. I've been Kat. If you have found it useful, please subscribe, and there are going to be plenty more videos with tips and hints coming out soon. For now, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Thanks.